And anybody can sell a printer. You know, how you support it, how you test it, how you innovate it, how you take it to the next level is what we work through all the time.
You make it and you check it, then you assemble it and you check it,
Yes.
and then you have a technician actually go and install it and make sure everything is running smoothly.
We have a parts room, basically, I think we have 8,000 parts in here. We do all the programming on these boards, and all these boards are set and met with our wiring harnesses. They get laid out. Each one has a spec on it. Each one knows where it's going. This one goes to the humidifier, the rollers. Everything in here is all done here in the shop. I could tell you all day long this is the best machine in the world, but I just want you to know that it is. I want you to understand it, experience it, and make sure that you feel comfortable with the machine you're going to take out the door.
Hey guys, we're in Tempe, Arizona at the CobraFlex headquarters, and with me today is one of the brains behind the operations, Jim. How's it going, Jim?
Good, good. How you doing, Zach?
Jim, you're one of the cool guys who were screen printing and embroidering for a long time, and then you're like, whoa, this DTF is going to be a game changer.
Yes.
And you and Chris have really built something cool here at CobraFlex, and you do it differently than most of the companies on the market selling these machines.
Yes, what we try to do is just give the full experience. Qualify, pre-qualify, make sure the people that are buying the machines are people that actually are going to be successful with the machines. That's been one of the things that a lot of people, and anybody could sell a printer. You know, how you support it, how you test it, how you innovate it, how you take it to the next level is what we work through all the time. So one of the things that we do here is this is the R&D side of it. So once a machine is done, over on the other side, we take the machine, bring it into the demo room, and then we start checking it, making sure the profiles are working correctly. We come in and make sure everything on that machine is running properly and is going to run up to our standards.
But then you have a fleet of technicians who always install these machines, are available in their region to quickly assist if the ticketing system isn't enough, right?
Yes, yeah. So we escalate levels. So if we can't fix it on the service ticket side, usually it's something that's like a capping station or a damper or something of that nature. If it's something that's the next level, we send somebody out to take care of it. Timing, could go anywhere from 3 days to a week or so, and we'll always keep trying to get it done online before we send somebody out.
But it's all about service at CobraFlex. Manufacturing, having control of what's all going into the printers, and then being able to service them properly. Because just like you said, anybody can sell a machine, anybody can sell a t-shirt, but you don't want to be an order taker. Exactly. You want to be a team between you and your customer, because more successful they are, the more consumables and everything else they're going to need to buy from you.
Exactly, and we tell people that all the time. People, they'll get mad because they didn't get service within an hour. We're busy too, just like you are, and we understand. We try to sympathize with that, but what we ask is just please, when you call in, you'll either get a call back or you'll get an email back. If it's something we think we can help you with from our help center side, we'll send you an email saying here's the steps you can take to correct that. If you do send in a service ticket and you want somebody to contact you, just put it in there. Here's my phone number. Please contact me. I feel more comfortable that way. That way you're not forgotten. So we do have a lot of customers, and what we try to do is get to the first in. So we try to address that as fast as possible.
Service.
Nobody's perfect.
No. We deal with similar types of customers at DecoNetwork, and sometimes you got to escalate, and sometimes you got to get your hands on it. But again, because you guys do a lot of the manufacturing right here in Tempe, and then you have your technicians and so forth. Really excited to show you guys throughout this video how CobraFlex goes about doing business when it comes to manufacturing, service, and everything in between.
That's one of the things with CobraFlex is if we are have service techs that are finished in the field, we actually fly them back to Phoenix here and let them work. If they got a couple days to work, we let them work in the shop to make sure that they understand anything new that came about, any programming, any wiring. We have technicians that come in and know how to do the wiring harness. That way we can make them very, very versatile. So if we have to change something, we know what tech's going to be the best at what. So we know who to send if there's a problem here, if there's a problem there. So we were real conscious about training and training up and overtraining our technicians.
Awesome, Jim. Well, let's go check out the facility.
Come on into the back.
All right, Jim. One of the most important things about DTF is support.
Yes.
These printers are easy to accidentally bump, get a head strike. I mean, you can't always blame the manufacturer for the problems.
Yes.
It doesn't matter what machine, doesn't matter what decoration process. There's a lot of peace of mind when you have really good support. So what is the philosophy at CobraFlex?
Philosophy at CobraFlex is make sure that we have 3 touch points. You can call the main number, you can send in a service ticket, or you can call our support staff, our 4 support systems. So technicians, main office, support staff here, and personally on each one of our support personnel.
The goal is often to solve a problem without having to always send a technician, right?
Yes.
But what is, these printers have warranties, correct?
Yes. So our printers have a 1-year warranty on every part except for anything that touches ink, consumables, your heads, your ribbon cables, anything that an ink can touch and damage, we don't warranty. But we have a full support system here, and we have a lifetime support online with as long as you're using our consumables.
Awesome. Yeah. So, like printer here. Do you have essentially one of each printer that you guys are selling?
Yeah, so we have one of each printer that is here and also in the demo room. This one here is a machine that we have that's just a demo type machine. What happens there is Jerry, the service online service, he will basically say, here, we have to make these adjustments. Let me show you how to make these adjustments. This is kind of a dummy machine that basically, we've torn apart and show what kind of problems you're going to have. And we can also show how we're going to fix the machine too. For example, if you come over onto the side here and you see that, hey, we got to replace this motor, Jerry's going to show you how to do that via an online scenario, FaceTime, or
something
like
as simple as a capping station.
Yes.
I mean, there's a lot of ink heads.
Yes.
Is that a consumable in your opinion?
It is a consumable, and the reason why I say that is because you can get a damage from a head strike. You can get, like in this case, you drop ink on the ribbon cable burns up the head, and then it starts burning. It's a progression, right? If it burn up the ribbon cable, goes to the head, burns up the headboard.
That's how I told my first machine, by the way. I kind of needed to replace that, probably
Yes.
didn't. And my ribbon cable, and I got that wet, and then at that point it was just like, oh, now I got to do this, this, and this. It gets a lot harder. It's not so much plug and play at that point.
Yes. So, and then what we do too is, we have service, our service tickets. We have a ticketing system. We typically can get back to you within 45 minutes to 2 hours, depending on the window and depending on the day. Typically at Mondays are always the most busiest days in the service side because something happened over the weekend. We've had people leave their heads to the left-hand side. We've had people that, maybe a motor blew out over the weekend. It always happens on Mondays.
Yep.
So one of the good things with the CobraFlex printers, we have cleaning systems. It's a standby clean. So the standby clean cleans the print heads. Yep. So, and that's a pretty regular thing. So it keeps the ink moving around.
Sometimes we want to do that quick cleaning. Sometimes we might need something a little bit stronger, but that doesn't mean we want to necessarily have the head sitting on it all times. So there's definitely steps.
Yes,
right?
there is. And it's, we call, in service, what we try to do is peel back the onion with the client.
Okay. Yep.
What was the last time I was working properly? What happened in between here and here and here and here? So when we do that, we're not thinking the customer is unknowledgeable. What we're trying to do is just get to the problem fast. So if we just peel back the onion from start to finish, when you send in your ticket, and be very clear about what's happened or what's happened in the past. Then we can address it a lot faster.
And honesty.
Yes, because one of the biggest things is an employee doesn't want to get their boss mad at them because they didn't change the caps when they were supposed to change the caps. We have a full outline online that says here's when you do all these type of things. 9 times out of 10, what we end up having is the customer say, "We didn't do that. We didn't know that was here." But we have a 98-point checklist when we install a machine to educate you on all that. So that's one of the biggest things with us from a training standpoint and a service standpoint is just get to the root of the problem.
Well, it's just like going in a car. Like at some point, I'm going to need to do a transmission flush, and just like it's all about maintenance. The better maintained the piece of equipment, the longer it's going to last, the better you're going to get an ROI out of it.
Yeah.
But So again, some of these parts are consumables. Nothing is built to last forever.
No.
Even your screen presses that have been around for decades, they've had parts replaced.
They do.
And I think it's pretty cool that you guys actually hold all of the parts for every machine in this area. So right over here, we have the parts room?
So we have a parts room. Basically, I think we have 8,000 parts in here. So we keep every bit of the parts for every machine, bearings, everything in here. We have spare computers, we have spare monitors, keyboards, everything. So we take care of almost everything on that computer.
And you're in Tempe, Arizona, so you can get it to the West Coast, East Coast pretty quick. Fairly.
Yeah, and nowadays it's just, with overnight shipping and stuff, it's getting faster, it's getting better. I mean, it's just, we can do it pretty quick.
And just curious, if somebody was really in a pinch and it's like, yeah, you're going to get it to me tomorrow and so forth, what is their solution if they really, I need some transfers printed? What do they? How can they go about that?
So what we do is we have some other clients throughout the industry that have printers. We suggest to them, hey, go to these clients. If it's an emergency situation, we have machines up and running over there, and we just give them to them. So what we try to do is just make sure that we keep people out of trouble. Yep. If we can do that, then we're doing our job from a service standpoint.
A lot of peace of mind there. And again, service, guys. When you buy a printer, it's all about service.
Yes.
Things are always going to break, especially with all the moving parts, especially with digital machines.
Yes.
I mean, they just aren't as simple as a carousel screen press, especially when you're like, oh, look, it's a manual. Well, there's really not. Yeah, it's moving, but there's not a bunch of little pieces that can have issues. Now, Jim, I'm real excited to actually see where these machines are actually assembled.
Yes.
So let's go check out that. Okay. Jim, everyone just assumes a semi shows up, you take the printers off there, they all come from China. You guys at CobraFlex do things differently.
Yeah, we do things a lot differently. We do everything from the wiring harnesses to our wiring all in-house. Jade here tests out all of our products, right? For example, all of our boards here are made, all CobraFlex branded boards. We do all the programming on these boards, and all these boards are set and met with our wiring harnesses. So everything here is done by us. We've done all the layouts, the wiring harnesses. Jade, as you can see on his monitor, he checks everything before it goes into a printer. He tests the board systems, the touch screens. He tests the humidifiers, the dehumidifiers, the pumping systems. Everything he does is he tests it individually before it even goes over to the next phase. So in this phase, we're building the Stealths, but here's our wiring harnesses. 280, what is it?
Yeah, 282.
282 wires go into each one of our wiring harnesses. So they get laid out. Each one has a spec on it. Each one knows where it's going. This one goes to the humidifier, the rollers. Everything in here is all done here in the shop. One of the good things about what we do at CobraFlex is our techs, whenever they have a day or not a day off, that they're not on the road, we bring them in here into the facility to understand and help build each one of these machines. So we take a little bit longer to build machines, but what we do is make sure that they're built correctly. So then we go into the next phase. Here's a build phase on a Stealth right now. So Carlos will take, and he is doing all the wiring harnesses, he's doing all the clips, putting everything into this machine, making sure everything works properly. After that, we go to the next phase of testing. This machine, once it's finished up, we don't even button it up. We let it run for an average of about 24 hours under pressure, under heat. It's just going back and forth, just making sure that this machine is just working. They button up everything at the end of the day. They get an approval. Everything is done by a specific wiring harness on here. As they said, there's 280 wires. Once he does that, he clips them off, pins them, checks it off on each machine. So each machine has got, on average, about 4 to 6 hands on it at any given time. So unfortunately, we're at lunch right now. But once that's done, it goes into the next phase, gets wrapped up, strapped up, and ready to go on with the Stealths, we have a color expander mode. So if you add color expanders, we add the color expanders. We build them as a CMYK machine, but recently we started adding the color expanders onto them. So once it's done there, it goes into the crate, goes out the door. what we do is we put a starter kit with it. That's a set of inks. Your motors. We got a little starter kit for films, everything. So once that's done, then it's checked off. Pictures taken now. Pictures taken of the machine and all the stuff that's in the crate, and it goes into our system, and it says, so we can check if we get a machine that says we were missing something, we can check that and make sure that is in our system.
So first you make it and you check it, then you assemble it and you check it,
yes,
and then you have a technician actually go and install it and make sure everything is running smoothly.
Yes.
You're just always checking, making sure that product is going to always work once it gets to the customer and it's dialed in. Because I'm a big believer, don't buy a DTF machine and not have it professionally installed. It's extremely important.
Yeah. And then look, there's a lot of good machines out there, but there's a lot of bad press. So if you have a machine that you had to put together yourself, people don't understand just how much time or how much money your time is worth.
Yeah, exactly.
So if it takes you 2 months to put together your own machine and you've trial and error and you've blown up a few heads, that could cost you the cost of a machine.
Yep.
As you know, you burn up 3 heads or 4 heads and you're done. If you buy a $6,000 machine and you burn up 4 heads, you're at $4,000 or $5,000.
One of our favorite customers. Have you ever met Brandon Mills?
Yes.
He's an absolute character. He's a big CobraFlex guy, but he was one of those first, you know what, I'm going to just buy it myself and I'll figure it out. And 15 print heads, guys. 15.
Yes.
You get what you pay for. You're not always saving money going that route. And I know he's had a lot better success after he switched to all your guys' inks and he started using CobraFlex printers because you just try to go that cheap route and you're not going to get the best results.
Yeah, and everybody has a bad day. We've had them. Everybody has them. But sometimes when you're under stress and you're working with a print head or the phone's ringing, you're the owner of the business, the phone's ringing, you're stressed out, you're doing this, one mistake can burn down everything. It starts at a print head.
Yep.
If the ribbon cable's wrong in the print head, it burns up the main board, it burns up this board. The boards have gotten better over time, but it's one of those things you really have to pay attention to.
Awesome, Jim. Well, I'm excited to see the rest of the facility.
Yes.
All right, Jim, this is the room that I understand because we have a lot of finished equipment. What exactly are we in the space?
So what we do here is this is the R&D side. Once the machines are finished, put together, and ready to run, we bring that machine in here and stress test it. So once we stress test it, we're just going to let it run all day long and see where the failure points are at. So we try to burn them down. And if we can burn them down, we know what to fix if there's something that we need to change or something of that nature. So what we do here, again, we take the service techs. Austin is color profiling today, but each one of our techs come back in when they got time and they get on the equipment. If you're a customer that's looking for a specific piece of equipment, we let you come in here, bring your files, and run, test it, stress test the equipment for yourself. I mean, I could tell you all day long that it's the best machine in the world, but I just want you to know that it is. I want you to understand it, experience it, and make sure that you feel comfortable with the machine you're going to take out the door. So when we push as hard as we do on different things, like here we're trying to do a small piece. Then we're going to do a large piece. So we're going to test every motion on this cutter. So on the Stealth over here, Austin is profiling right now. What we want to do is make sure that the profiles that are going out on these type of machines, we can give you a profile that's going to get you pretty darn close. And if we get you close, then you don't have to worry about it when you got the printer in the field.
And when it comes to color profiling, the time of the year or the location, what all goes into color profiling?
Yeah, so
does one profile work for everybody?
No, it doesn't. What I tell people is when we do a profile for you, unless it's a specific profile, and we can do that, we can go out to your facility and do a specific profile for you. What we tell people, and actually we're putting it online, I just did an article on it that basically states, these are prime conditions that you want to have before you even start profiling.
Yep.
So you want to be in the environment that you're supposed to be in. You want to make sure that your print heads aren't 2 years old. What I tell people is when you profile from the beginning on your machine, you have fresh heads, you have good caps, you got a good nozzle check, once you're there and you have your good temperature can change a lot of things, as you know. If it's the humidity's down in a room, you might as well not even profile.
Yep.
So what we do is we got a climate-controlled room here to make sure that everything that we do is within range. If you do that without a range, you're never going to get to what you need, because if tomorrow your humidity drops to 10 and tomorrow the next day it's at 60, you have two different profiles.
And if you had multiple CobraFlex printers, one is, the Venom, the 15 head, and maybe I have the King Cobra, which, what is it, 6 head?
We got 6 heads on those, yes.
Would you maybe use different color profiles even in the same space?
Absolutely. So this machine has a different profile than this machine. So this has got this one will have a 5 head or a 6 head profile. This one's going to have a 4 head profile. It'll have a CMYK profile, it'll have a fluorescence profile, and it'll have just a color expander profile. And also on these we throw in another profile on your CMYK that's called a low humidity profile. So if the humidity drops, we pump up the ink a little bit on the white for a better coverage. And
what's the difference between 4-pass, 6-pass, 8-pass? What does that mean? Because initially, everything was like more heads. That means faster, right?
Yeah.
Or does it always?
Not always. Depends on how you set your headsets. So, what we try to do is you do 2 heads, and then two heads, so to get you a wider pass. Now, people think that they can profile, then do let me turn it into a 4-pass. No, you have to profile for every pass. So you want to, profile for every different. If you don't want to do a 2-pass, you want to do a 4-pass, you want to do an 8-pass, always profile for different passes.
The more passes, kind of the slower we're printing. Is that correct?
Yes. So if you do we run it 6-pass. If you do an 8-pass, you're going to slow it down by a third. Now you do a 4-pass, you're going to double it up from the 6, just because of the gap. So, but when you change your passes, you change your step, you change everything. Sometimes it'll throw off your white to the other, to the CMYK. So when you do it, it's not just push a button and do it. Those are things that it's misconception.
Well, when everything's covered up, just push a button. I mean, that's how easy it is. It's a digital printer, right?
Yes, yes. And it's not like that. I mean, you got to understand your printer. You got to understand your profiling. You got to understand that what you do is, or how you maintain and how you take care of your machine and how you set your machine up, that's how your machine's going to run for you.
Yep.
So if you're in a hurry and you say, I got to get this job done and I'm going to turn it onto a 4-pass, and you don't re-rip your file, you're done.
Yep.
You're going to have a bad print.
It's just like speeding up the embroidery machine too much. I mean,
yes.
You're going to get not always the best results.
Yeah, and your threads are going to break, and everything's going to happen.
Looping and all that. Yep.
It's going to happen bad. I mean, that's one of the things that we try to prove to people is, look, one of the things with the Venom, they're like, how do you align 15 heads? We print these, and everybody's like, why do you print these small things? We print these because if you look at this print, it's super, super small. That tells me that print head is aligned properly. So those are things that we kind of push in here, in this demo room. Now we take what we do in this demo room, gets put onto a disc, and every one of our techs has it with them at all times. So they understand it. So each one of these techs, there's times that I come in here and I'll throw the alignment off, and when one of the techs are in, hey, make the adjustments on that. You know what I mean? And more than not, it just helps them to understand what's going on. Awesome. We really want to educate our techs all day long.
So we have a King Cobra. This thing will absolutely fly. Mm-hmm. We have a Stealth that can be used with the color expander. What I really like about the Stealth is if you don't have that big amount of space, you want to put it through a normal door, or you have a big warehouse, you don't want to put an extra dryer, but it's the most self-contained machine. We're going to take, made a few videos on it. It's very unique. Fast, but then we have the Venom, which is your 15 head. I don't know of a printer that is anywhere near that fast and that big. Mm-hmm. I mean, we're pumping out around 2,000 square feet an hour with this thing.
And I could tell everybody, at 2,000 square foot an hour, you can go higher, but only with the right environment. If you have the right environment, everything's programmed in properly. With this thing, every room is different. I could take and put this in one room and another room with the same programming, same everything, and it may run 600 square feet an hour. It just depends. So we tweak it with you. We make sure that things get faster, and those are things that we try to push all the time.
And in addition to your normal heat transfer DTF, you guys also have UV DTF machines as well, right, Tim?
Yeah, UV DTF, we've had these for about 2 years now. The adhesives are really coming along in the last year, and they're even getting better right now. So, this is actually a 4-head capable. We're only running 3, but we're working on an adhesive to go in the first head to actually give a better adhesion and prime on the glue that's on there. So, to come soon. So,
well, what generation would you say we are on heat DTF versus UV DTF?
I personally believe we're still in generation 2.
Yep.
DTF, we're in generation 5.
Okay.
So, come a long way. Software, all the
consumables.
Yes, consumables have come a long way. I mean, back in the day, it was just trying to put DTG ink in a printer to see if it worked. Right? Add some screen print powder on it. It's like we were doing everything we could to try to make something work. And now, with working with some of the ink manufacturers, some of the film manufacturers, just trying to get the best product out there. That's the key to what we're doing.
But you guys have been R&Ding. I mean, you guys were one of the first to market. How did the CobraFlex idea come about, and at what point did you decide, you know what, I want to be one of the best dealers, manufacturers? That's the big thing. You guys actually manufacture
yes.
And service. Everybody wants these machines because DTF is so popular. But again, I remember when it was first coming about 4 or 5 years ago, you guys were one of the first to market.
Yeah, we had a good concept in the beginning. We, of course, had the liquid adhesive, which eventually will come back to market. Still working on that diligently all the time. So what we try to do is basically, push everything to the limit, right? I come from the offset industry where you can run 18,000 sheets an hour.
Yeah.
So, I always want to push it a little bit faster. I mean, we want to push it as hard as we can. The next is like try to make it smaller, faster, and
it's like a phone.
Yeah, because it's like size matters when it comes to rents. I mean, the rents are, this building here at one point, it's a 15,000 square foot building, a total of 25,000. At one point I had it all. Now, that was 50 cents a square foot. Now it's $1.25 a square foot.
It goes way much.
The price is, just tremendous now in comparison. So what we look at is how do we do what we did in a screen print shop? Because if you think about this, if you do 500 shirts an hour in a screen print shop, and you're probably going to have 3 or 4 big printers, right? Now, average with, setting up and locking up films, you're probably going to get 200 shirts to 250 shirts an hour with a 8-9 color job. So what we look at is how do we keep that space and make money with that space?
Well, in addition, labor also goes up, and you guys are automating DTF from the printing side to all the way to cutting.
Yeah.
Because this is probably the worst job. It is the easiest, but
it's tedious.
You have an XY cutter here, so we can go straight from any of these machines. As long as we print those registration marks, you guys are using Neo Stampo's RIP software, so we can print the registration marks, output a cut file, and just automate this that much more.
Yes, and that's the key. I mean, as we go along as a company, we're going more towards the commercial side. We're not by any means saying we're not going to sell to the end user, smaller companies. But from an automation standpoint, the industry really needs that. So if you're taking and you got 3 or 4 of these venoms and you're cutting for that without automation, it starts to get a little tedious. And what we try to do is we're working on different things. We will custom make. We'll make sure that if you have a need for a different drop value or in the back here, instead of just dropping it in, conveyor systems, we'll do all that for you. And that's one of the things that CobraFlex does is we'll do site visits on a big job and say, hey, this is what's going to help work this way, that way. We're really, really into the next phase, and that's going to be like robotics. Picking this up and putting it on pick and place, putting it on a shirt. We're working on all that type of stuff. And then, like Chris and I, my partner, when we started this business, what we said is, if we're not 2 years ahead of everybody, we're 5 years behind. So that's what we try to do, and we try to do the R&D all the time. R&D is just our biggest plus right now. What's the next phase? It's unlimited. I mean, it's just, we're going to push these.
We're still in the infancy.
It is. I mean,
it's great.
It's
maybe
fun.
DTF's a toddler at this point, but
yeah,
it's still young.
I'll tell you, when I first started in the printing industry, 2,000 20 by 28 sheets were fast. Now they're at 18,000. So it's like a total difference. Now they're going, instead of offset, they're going full digital inkjet and running 8,000 sheets an hour with no plates.
My father was a lithographer. Father-in-law was a lithographer for 45 years.
Yeah.
And he just retired last month. And he ran the Heidelberg. And then he showed me, hey, check out this $6 million digital press.
Oh, yeah.
And even in paper printing, it's the same way. The
Yes.
digital, we had to wait for it to, the consumables to get cheaper a lot of the time. Even DTF, it just keeps going down.
Yeah.
And they're more consistent. I mean, first generation of DTF printers, everybody was still learning and so
Yes.
forth. I mean, I have complete confidence buying any of these printers, but I also think, Jim, you guys are making them too good, too fast, and then we have a lot of great transfer options out there too.
There are. I mean, what we tell people is, a lot of times we could put a transfer company in business 20 a month. It's crazy. I mean, and it's localizing people, and they're giving them other options. A lot of people that are doing the local work, instead of sending it out or screen printing it it's all about time nowadays, right? Everybody's behind, and they want you to make it faster. That's where this comes into play, and it's helping speed up from that standpoint. So we have customers now that we have one customer, for prime example, started with our first press, second press, and then now they went to the King Cobra and called me the other day and said, hey, I think we're going to do 2 more. So they're growing that fast, but it's localized. I mean, they have a good area. They want to make sure that they take care of that certain area. So, the big transfer companies can't be everywhere.
Find your niche.
And that's what it is. If you find your niche, there are people that still like screen print transfers.
Yep.
But do they like the speed? Do they like how long it's going to take? Those are
They don't like looking through paper. I mean, it's the little things. Sometimes not all about cost too.
Exactly.
Paper's cheaper than film, but guess what? They're used to it. So it's not all about cost. But again, Jim, what I'm impressed with CobraFlex is that you guys manufacture and the service, because not everybody does that. Most of these DTF dealers are just getting machines off the boat and they're pushing off on their own, and they're not really servicing them and giving the customer the best experience. You guys do it differently.
Yeah, we try to put hands on every machine before they go out the door. If we do that, we in multiple hands. So we'll take the builder, the tester, then the service tech. So there's 3 times that those machines are the least amount touched. So, and there's times that the machine will be out here. This one will get ready to go to our customer in about a week or so. So by the time that one's in, the next one comes in. We do some testing on it. We may take a little bit longer, but we want to test it. Nobody's perfect, but we have some that has gone out after 3 touches, and we go, oh my, we should miss that. So we put into the system how we're going to do the next play. So it's all about trying to get those type of things together.
Awesome. Well,
everybody's learning.
Oh yeah. Jim, where can our viewers go to learn more about CobraFlex's large lineup of printers and your automation tools? Yeah,
so what we do, or you can go to CobraFlexPrinters.com with an S, and we're look for the next upcoming website. Basically, the next upcoming website is going to have some ebooks. It's going to have DecoNetwork on there. So they've got a lot of information to give to people. And DecoNetwork has been a great partner of ours, and they understand it. They understand it in the industry. They understand, what it's going to take to do the embroidery, what it's going to take to do the screen printing, the digital, all that stuff. And they just keep getting better. better and better.
Thank you so much, Jim.
Yeah.
We have a lot of mutual customers. Guys, reach out to somebody like Brandon Mills at Total Promotion Company. He's a big Deco user, CobraFlex guy. It's a team.
Yeah.
It's a team. The more successful your customers are, the more they're going to buy from you, and we just want to all be successful together.
Education is key nowadays. I mean, I used to pick up a book. Now it's, I'm spending a lot of time educating myself on what's next. What are we going to do next? I mean, even down to the small things, how can I cut off seconds? If you can cut off seconds, you can gain hours.
Yep.
And that's like even with our heat pressing. Our heat pressing, if you could do it in 3 seconds, you save 2 hours a day compared to a 15-second or a 10-second press. That's a lot of time.
It is a lot of time.
So,
well, Jim, thank you so much for having us.
All right,
guys,
thank you.
visit CobraFlexPrinters.com.